I have, and we're ready to go.
Cool, cool. Jean-Pierre, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to go and share my screen over there. So yes, sorry for jumping the gun earlier. Nice to see you guys again. So today we're going to talk about customer validation. So in order to get to your minimum viable product, you need to actually go through a process where you need to validate what it is that you think that your customer is like and what they would like and so forth. So just to maybe take a quick recap is I'm just going to go through Quick Bites venture at the moment. As a quick recap, we basically went and captured a bit of our problem statements. This is just the individual things that we found that we are solving in our customers' world. We've got, subsequently came up with a few solution statements. And these things are basically just what's the problem in the customer's world and what's the solution that we're going to provide. When we have that, we then flicked over to the value proposition. Now, the value proposition is very similar to the solution, but the value proposition is a little bit more, you're proposing value. So in this point, it's basically taking your solution statement or statements and polishing it a little bit and making it a little bit more attractive. So, I mean, if we look at a practical example over here, so Quick Bites is basically providing a similar service to what Uber Eats does. At the end of the day, it's the same service. It's a service to get food from restaurants and fast foods to customers as they order it. But the problems that they have encountered is that these restaurants actually, these Uber Eats actually take a lot of revenue or from the margin of what the guys put on their food. Other than that, if you want to run your own delivery service, that can be quite costly, and there's various reasons for that. So if we just look over here, there's a shortage of skilled drivers in the country. Driver safety becomes an issue if you manage your own fleet. And the cost of ownership of motorcycles is very expensive. Like I said over here, I've added this, that the margins get challenged and so forth. So we identify these problems, and then we identify these solution statements. And if you look at these solution statements, okay, so the solution is we provide you with motorcycle rentals. There's a network of trained and qualified drivers. We've got driver training, rider management, and then there's a big solution that I wrote over here. Quick Bites provide a solution that alleviates restaurants or fast food outlets from the risk and administration associated with managing a fleet of delivery vehicles. This includes motorcycle rentals and maintenance, driver training, and rider management. So just as a quick note, I think it's always good to maybe just plot down initially all your problems that you have identified in the customer's world, and then plot down all the individual solutions. And as we go on, these things take time, and it takes time to actually germinate and to foster in your mind with your own understanding. And once we've done that, one can actually go and come up with a proper one problem statement or in a consolidated solution statement. Now, what I wanted to say earlier is that these things are quite devoid of solving a specific customer issue, and it's not really enticing enough. So now what our next step is, and this is now customer validation with the aim of building an MVP. So even though these are our solutions, motorcycle rentals, network of trained and qualified riders, driver training, if you say these things to a restaurant, sure, they sound like a solution, but the value proposition is more evolved from that. So I have come up with a little bit of a value proposition over here called a one-stop on-demand branded and customizable fleet management solution for restaurants and fast food services, big and small. So in this value proposition statement, you can either you can actually play a little bit here, and you can see that, okay, this value proposition can be like it can almost become your slogan. It can become an elevator pitch, or it can just be a few value propositions that you then basically offer to each of your customer segments. And what is very important is that with customer development, if we go to the value proposition canvas, so just as a quick reminder, the value proposition takes this block, which is the value proposition, and it actually blows that a little bit out, and it gives it more perspective, and it allows you to actually step into your customer's world, empathize with them, and then understand how are you then going to shape your solution and your product and service offering. So if we go to this value proposition canvas, this is a reminder. We've got our few, I'm going to quickly say, e-commerce marketplaces. Let's see which customer segment is going to make some good sense. Let's say e-commerce marketplaces. What we're going to do in the customer validation section is we're going to pick our, it's best to actually pick your potential customer segment that is probably going to give you the most attention, that you want to give the most attention to for various reasons. And with those reasons would probably boil down to numbers, and to highest margins and so forth. During the validation process, we're going to go into their minds and go into the customer jobs. We will be looking at what is it that they need to do, what is it that they need to fulfill from a day-to-day basis. So they obviously receive e-commerce marketplaces, by the name itself implies that they don't have storefronts. So their list of jobs would be something like they receive an order, they place an order, they do some upselling, etc., interact with the customer, but then they need to ship these things off. And now they need to either get a third party or to do it themselves. When they ship these things off, there's a lot of things that can happen during the delivery process, the delivery and logistics process. And during this process, there's a lot of things that we now need to go and look at. What during these steps is going to be something that they would like, which is a gain. What are the things that they dislike, which is a pain, and how are we going to create those things they like, and how will we alleviate those things that we have identified along their way. And as we go through this will also be an iterative process. So I'll get back to you guys, but I think what we need to do is we need to first of all go and define which of these customers is our top customer that we want to spend time on. I don't think we're going to have time to work through all of these, but pick one of them, and then we can go through this process, and we're going to shape exactly what their world is and what the validation then at the end of the day is about. So we're going to take these assumptions to our customer. We're actually going to go to these people that we serve or that we intend to serve. Some of us, I take it some of us have these customers already, or some of us want to have the specific customer segment in our business. We're going to populate these blocks, and we're going to then take that to the customer, and we're going to validate that. So during that validation process, and they call this getting out of the building, we will definitely see a change in the customer jobs and a change in the gains and the creators, pains and pain relievers. And at the end of the day, as we then get validation and we shape this knowledge of our customers at the end of the day, it's going to shape our value proposition. So these things, as I've said, they're going to change. It's maybe good to plot them down individually, then summarize them. And as you go along and gain new insights into what it is that your customers like, we're going to come up with additional value propositions. And then when the exercise is reaching maturity, we will then have a really solid something, really, how can I say, something special that we can offer our specific segments. And all of this will, at the end of the day, provide us with insights into how we will build our products. So the pain relievers and the gain creators, these things become items that we need to then focus on in building our products and our services. They will shape these products and services, as I can quickly show you, sorry, on the on the product canvas, they will shape the customer journey. So the customer journey is where the customer, for the first time, hear about your service, whether it's word of mouth, maybe on the radio, maybe on social media, from the point to they then go to your website. When we go to the website, you will then definitely be starting to use your actual value proposition statements and customer targeted statements. And these things will then basically shape and facilitate the customer's journey and make them feel at ease and make them feel welcome and make them feel and see the value that you're proposing, that you're offering to them. So as we've said, it's a iterative process that we go on. We will define where your customer will actually interact with your product or your service, and that will then change things and allow you to come up with some use cases and specifications of at which touch point do you want to implement certain things. And all of this will then basically shape what we call an MVP, a minimal viable product. And a minimal viable product is the smallest thing that you can possibly think of that you can take to a client to show them what you intend on offering them. And the key of the MVP is to get customer feedback. So as we've mentioned with our previous value proposition canvas, we will first of all plot down our thoughts, and then from there on we will actually take those thoughts, validate it with the customer, and that process will then come iteratively come back. We will come up with an MVP and we'll go back to the customer. And this process will go on and on and on until we've shaped something that actually that customers want, that works in a way that they want, that solves their pains, creates their gains and make them happy, and actually at the end of the day realize this value proposition. So that this value proposition is not just a promise, but it's actually something that we've thought through and that we worked at by various steps and the validation processes, and that we've actually shaped it. And that is not just a promise, but something that we can truly deliver on. In subsequent lessons, we will go on to the back end of the business model canvas. So all of this, the front end stuff, is just the information that we gather from our clients, but then also to make that actually work, there's certain things that we need to put in place here at the back. There's certain activities we will need to perform, some of them with or without partners, and these things will consume resources and cost us things. And more often than not, we need to take a gradual approach so that we can get traction, so that we don't just roll out the first plan that comes to mind. So I think that is basically what customer validation and MVPs and so forth are about. I wonder if it's going to be. I thought it's going to be a good exercise if we maybe work through some of your cases over here and see what you guys thought and have experienced so far. And what you think maybe is who your best customer is and how you think you are best serving them currently and what you think you can maybe do better. So, excuse me, Tebogo, is she on the line? Yes, she is. Just want to say thank you very much for your effort so far in populating your Rubik's Cube. Really nice effort. There's a lot of stuff we can work with here. I'm really looking forward to taking things further. I think my general feedback was that everything was captured really well, and all I've done is I've summarized a few things for you, as you can see in the problem and solution statements. So if I can maybe ask you who you think your ideal customer is. Are you serving them, and what is it that you're experiencing at the moment in terms of their world? What is it that you think you're doing well, and what is it that you can improve on?
This is a difficult one because I've started kind of renting out the bikes to the drivers so they can go and find work and stuff. But then, yeah, but it's mostly restaurants. Yeah. I think, yeah, just the dedicated delivery service basically kind of works for them instead of like an Uber type of model where a driver delivers for like kind of like yeah they what I've noticed is that they do not like the Uber model because then they all have their own guidelines like in terms of mixing food and stuff and the temperatures and whatnot. So then like you'll get that your McDonald's is worried that if a driver goes and takes a Roman's pizza that the food will get stale and things like that. So they appreciate like the dedicated delivery service, having their own team of drivers. And then I think the challenges is that like one of the restaurant owners decided to get his own uh, drivers and then outsource one from us. But then now he's experiencing issues with his current drivers. Like sometimes they don't pitch up. Uh, one broke his motorcycle. So then now this is kind of putting unexpected pressure on me to take drivers from other restaurants that are not so busy to go and help out when his store is busy. I think that's the challenge there. But then otherwise, yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
Hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to say something here which is not going to be maybe slightly controversial. So it's almost like an on-demand driver. I wanted to say the Uber model for on-demand drivers, but on-demand driver selection, or I'll find a better word for that. Okay, so you've I think you understand exactly what this canvas is about. You know, I think the gain would be if they can have on-demand driver selection because they have these guys that don't pitch for work. Motorcycles break, but that will then obviously, if you do that, that will change your business model, and it will put a lot of strain on you because now you have to come up with basically a mini Uber Eats model. So you're going back to what they are doing. Okay, so that's an interesting one. I think there's a bit of thinking that you need to do. But it sounds like you are experiencing a lot of scenarios that make you question the way you do things. Is that correct?
Yeah, like every day there's like a new challenge or demand from the customer that comes up. So I just kind of have to think there at the moment what to do and yeah.
Okay. So just on that thought over there is when we build these MVPs and we get these insights from customers, there's always a certain stage where we might have to pivot. And what they call pivoting, it's basically what Tebogo has faced over here, is that she's had an idea, and we all have an idea of how we can run our business. We think we've got this value that we can provide through this channel, and we're going to do these things. But now we've seen that with changing customer needs, and as you actually start dealing with people in restaurants and you know, getting into the thicker things with them, it will often make you question what you're doing, and that's a good thing. And I think what is then very important is to go through these scenarios and test them and see what's going to be, is it the case in other places? And then as much customer feedback and customer validation that you can get, bring that back into your system and see what changes you can make on the business model yourself, or on your pains and your gain creators and your pain relievers. Thank you so much for that. Good luck, and yeah, let's talk a bit on that. Let's see where we can help you and just give you some advice. Siatemba,
Yes, I'm here.
are you well?
I can't complain. It's Thursday. It's Thursday. No, but I can't complain.
It's Wednesday.
Oh, okay, okay.
So now it should go better since you've got another day in your life that you didn't know you had.
Yeah. That means I'm blessed.
Absolutely. Cool, man. So yeah, thank you also for your feedback here. I've noticed that you've actually left me a message in the system, and I'll have a look at that and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So, Siatemba, with your business, just want to quickly open up your canvas over here. So what I've done is I've had a look at your problem statements. Unfortunately, these problem statements were more focused on your organization, and it wasn't customer centric. So these problem statements must always be about the customer and not about you. It's about the problem that you need to solve. Because at the end of the day, if you're not solving a problem, no one's going to give you money to solve something for you that doesn't exist.
Okay.
So what I've done is I've basically just gave you a consolidated problem statement, which reads small organizations lack the skills required to maintain their information technology and security infrastructure. These skills cover backups, maintenance, bug fixing, driver installations, and general malfunctioning. A lack of these skills is a risk to business continuity. So the problem is that they don't have these skills, and the solution is that you guys actually provide these skills, and that you provide it actually in an on-site fashion. So if we go to your value proposition, I've basically said that it's outsource your electronic infrastructure administration, support, maintenance, and installation and backups, so you can focus on your business. So as you can see, this is already not just the solution is that you provide the skills to do all these things, but a value proposition is that you propose something. We can outsource all these things for you, take your headaches away, and you can focus on your business. Right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so I think what we can maybe do for you is if you can maybe tell us a little bit more about who do you think is your ideal customer? Who's the guys that's going to give you the best traction, and why? And maybe tell us a bit more about how you servicing them at the moment, what you've done well and what you could do better.
Okay. I will say Namedi Secondary School, which we service their computer lab, because that's the main project that we got from them.
Yeah.
So far, we've been servicing them very, very well, because they called us for two exams consecutively, midterm exams, because they wanted a technician on site. Since we networked and did everything on their computer lab, so Department of Education requires that there must be a technician on site during exams, in case anything happens. So we've been doing very well on that side, and every time before they write, we go and check if everything is going well, if the computers are working, or if there's anything that's wrong, then we deal with it before they even sit for exams.
All right.
So
and which customer segment did you say this was? Sorry.
It let me see.
You said it was a school, right?
Yes, it's a school.
Okay. So what I think what you've also have identified, what you can maybe log as a problem, is that the DTI, this is another problem that you're solving, the DTI requires that a technician is on site during exams. And obviously your solution is that you provide that technician. And I think what is important is that if this is your biggest type of customer, I think it would be a good exercise to actually go to similar types of customers, validate with them that technician that to be there is actually required, validate with them that they actually don't have these skills in-house, or it's maybe not viable for them to employ someone permanently, and that you guys can outsource these requirements for them. And then basically what you will then do is you, in your value proposition canvas, you're going to build up a persona to say that, as you've done here. And yeah, you've done quite a bit over here. Build that out further. Try and focus. If you get that pain point that you think a lot of people might have, try and validate that there's a lot of people that have it, and that's obviously then with your value proposition. If you then position it correctly, you can actually then use that as marketing material and as branding to go to these guys and say, listen, do you have this problem? This is how we can solve it. How can we help you? And you might start off with the exam season, but end up, getting additional work from them.
Okay.
Cool. And that obviously you don't have a product per se. You've got a service, and that will then influence the way that you, on your specific customer journey, which we will still work on, you can zone in at that specific point in time, and you can then shape your services to be more streamlined, and you can then actually provide that to people at scale as soon as you've got all your stuff operationally sorted, so that you make sure that you've got all your staff sorted, and so forth, to deliver the service properly.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, anything else you would like to ask or say?
Okay. I think for now I get it, because
Okay.
I was very lost. But now, since you've explained it, and last time I had a meeting with, I think it's Yinpe and Tumsan, they did take me through for me to understand what the Rubik's Cube wants from me, because
Okay.
as you said, my answers focused mostly on my organization instead of the customer. But now I'm cool. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and then shout if you need any help.
Yes, I will.
Tebelo,
Yeah, good afternoon.
are you well, sir?
Yes, I'm well.
That's great news. I'm glad we got a chance to spend some time last week. Thanks for your time then.
Yeah.
So Tebelo runs an accounting firm, and I think what I try to summarize for you over years, well, what I understand from what you can offer. And Ken and Tyron, if you guys want to chip in and maybe give some advice or see something that could be of good advice to Bello, it would really be great. You also once again captured problems over here. That is your problem and not your client's problem. So what I've tried to do with from our sessions that we've had is to summarize what it is that I think you are solving. And this here, I think what I said in administration of key financial documents is what I meant. Okay, so the administration, and I'm not sure if the administration is exactly the right verb, of key financial documents. I know if I go through all these processes every year, it's really, it's painful to get everything in order, and what have you done then, and what is that line, and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's basically what this second point also alludes to. So I think it's good that you've mentioned a solution here to subscribe to Xero as an accounting system. I'm not sure if you want to subscribe to Xero yourself, or if you wanted to do it for your clients. But I think either way, it would be a good solution. But let's see if we focus on the clients. Subscribing to Zero, as far as I understand it, would alleviate a lot of these things. So it will help you with a lot of recon and basically give you a real-time view of your organization. And then, you know, with all these key financial annual statements that one needs to submit, the solution is that you actually produce all these documents that is required. The solution that I've now added basically goes back to your Zero item that you've logged there, is accounting through cloud-based accounting system, and also that you have in-depth knowledge of your customer's business that allow you to produce required financial documents easier and more effective. So these are just some suggestions. I'm not sure if you want to maybe add to that at this point in time.
No, that's more or less what I can come up with now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did come up with a value proposition here. So yeah, I've got a few separate value propositions for you. So it's once again accounting automation. I think if anyone hears accounting or automation, they already become a lot happier person if they know that they don't have to go through all the tedious things that organizations need to go through to produce these things. Well, for me, it's tedious. I'm not very good with this kind of admin. And then that you provide consulting around accounting packages that suit specific business needs. So I'm not sure exactly what packages it is that you offer, but I think that's a very nice value add, is how do you actually become kind of like a technology consultant for organizations out there around the accounting domain. And then you assist with additional services that include business and trademark registration. So I think, you know, if we've now got 3 different statements over here, if we can maybe work on that a little bit and come up with a nice value proposition that can maybe go into an elevator pitch or a slogan or some marketing material, I think that would be quite nice.
That's correct, yes.
Okay. Tyron and Ken, you guys being in this field, is there anything you would like to add over here?
Yeah, JP, I mean, having done this for some time, we've discovered that the best value proposition for clients is they generally want accounting for free, and and they want it done yesterday.
Well,
So, yeah, I think managing the expectations, because accounting is still seen as a grudge purchase in the industry. People are not seeing what the value of accounting is in terms of business management. So what we find is if you can show the client value in terms of not just the debits and credits, but in terms of running their business, their management of their company, that we find goes a long way into engendering client loyalty as well. And then lastly, clients are not interested in accounting. It doesn't help you, no matter how smart you are as an accountant, to try to teach them debits and credits. They really couldn't care. They want to know how much tax they don't have to pay, and they just want to know that how quickly can they, the ease of giving you books or bank statements, receipts and stuff, so you can give them books as easy as possible. Yeah.
I hear you. And I think, you know, every organization at the end of the day, it boils down to rands and cents. And what you said is really, it's really valuable. So, and I think that's where the Zeros and the receipt banks and all those guys, I think there's another processing system that you use for receipts now, right?
Yeah, there's a number of them out there, but currently, because we've standardized around Zero, we use their product called HubDoc, which is very similar to Receipt Bank. But we've gone that route purely because it integrates with the snapshot tool.
Yeah.
But, they are cheaper. They are definitely, if you're looking for accounting platforms and looking for cost effectiveness, I mean, Sage is still cheaper than Xero. But yeah, I mean, there's so many value adds onto Xero that make the whole process easier. So as a one-man band accounting firm, you can handle a lot more clients before you have to start hiring staff if you're using the automation process. Yeah,
I think what this is also a very good example, I think, of, if I can call it, business model innovation. That accounting is becoming a commodity. So all the functions around it, with all the zeros and the hub dogs and receipt banks, all the stuff that was previously, you gave all your slips to your accountant, and then it's a long process of processing, and what is this and what is that. All of that now becomes sorted if you use the right software. So if you're an accountant, you need to then get that part sorted and automated as soon as possible, and then you actually need to go into a different skill set. If I understand it right, almost into management accounting, isn't that correct?
Yeah, what I've found is that there's very few accountants who like accounting. The real money comes from the advisory work. So if you can give your clients business management advice, like what do the accounts mean? I mean, the accounts are boring. They're black numbers on a white page. But what do they mean? What can you translate from them that will help the entrepreneur be a better business person as a whole?
Yeah, maybe start talking sales, because sales means income, and that drives people. Or cutting costs.
Well, that's the thing. It starts with the actual numbers. So the less painful it is for the client to provide you with the documentation needed to produce their numbers, the easier it is to start those conversations. We find that those clients that are generally the most painful are the ones that don't supply you with the information you required, yet they're still in demanding in-depth answers as to how you can save their business. So if you automate the bookkeeping side, that flows straight away into the actual advisory consulting side of things.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Tebelo, did that help?
Yes, it helped a lot. Yes.
Tebelo, while you're on here, I don't know if you recall our earlier chat when we did our initial assessment when we were going to bring you onto the program. We run a cloud-based accounting practice through SME.TAX. So I think I'll get Ken to set up some time with you, and we can definitely help you with your structures and potentially bring you on board as a franchisee to utilize these actual structures. So it might definitely make your life a lot easier.
That's correct. Thank you so much. That can actually assist me.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Ken, if you yourself and Humasani can just make notes and just follow up with and Tobello, we can set up some time next week.
Hundreds, we'll give him a shout on Monday.
Cool.
Okay, then we've got the Masters of African Trade, Artisan Trade Depot. How's it, Nick? Are you well?
I think I'll start getting better after 1 October when the borders open.
Okay. Yeah. So good luck with that. I really hope. I think everyone would just like everything to open now. So yes, good luck with that. I think I also want to say thank you to you for providing very good problem statements. So for everyone out there that doesn't know what Nick and his team are doing, as far as maybe I should allow you, Nick, to describe in a few words what it is that you are doing. I've got a good material. It's the sourcing and distribution of building and other materials. It's not just building items, but I presume it's certain brands. It might be electronic devices and so forth into Africa to people that cannot get certain items in their country. and we ship it from South Africa. They don't have to deal with various suppliers, but they've got a single point of contact of ordering and delivery. Is that roughly right?
That is very correct. That's our major thing that we do is basically we are into export trading and export management. So we source, buy, transport, and deliver all the building materials, especially on the electricals, plumbing, carpentry, as well as the home appliances. So we do this by us being distributors of various brands and having all those brands products under our online store, so that clients do not have to deal with several 5-6 different suppliers whenever they need things. They can continuously deal with one supplier that will do everything for them and deliver it. And if they would want it installed, we have got a network of artisans in those particular places who are able to fit it or install it. So we are trying to provide a one-stop shop for the pain of having to come to South Africa and find transport and find shops and find transport and deal with all the paperwork. We're trying to get that all under one roof.
Cool. I'm just adding artisans here. I presume that you have different delivery partners in the various countries as well.
We do.
Cool. Okay, so I think just some feedback. Your problem statements were 100%. Solution statements, I think you copied some of these over, so I've created a few new solution statements for you. Solution statement number 1 is a single point of contact to deal with one supplier. Delivery at any particular point. Efficient ordering system from a single source. Broad range of available brands. So just out of interest sake, do you know how Alibaba works? Do they have a single point that you can shop? Do they have your model, or do they actually have the multiple supplier model that you can order from, or have they got that part consolidated as you guys do?
Alibaba basically is a marketplace. So basically they offer you to say, instead of you having to search search 20 websites, you go onto one platform where you are able to access a whole lot of different suppliers. But then you use their platform to communicate with those suppliers, so that they would do the verification to say, are the suppliers genuine, are they what? And you don't have to do all that due diligence. They will do that. And then for us, what we are doing is we have internalized those particular brands. So we are not providing a platform to these brands to sell their products through our website. We go to the suppliers, get distributorship or get trade discounts, so that when we put pricing on our online store, it's pricing that is based on it's a pricing with our markup, but it's a better price than what you would normally get in retail in certain times, because we do not have the same overheads that most of these retailers have. So we offer in most cases better prices, because when you order, that's when we go and buy and pick up, consolidate and send out, as opposed to keeping in stock. So it's slightly different, because Alibaba does marketplace. For us, we are doing a consolidation, one-stop shop where all the brands are listed under one place.
Okay, cool. I think we can go through these value propositions at some point in time. They just basically, like I said, from your previous solution statements, I've just made them a little bit more customer centric, and we can go into adjusting them a little bit more. But another question to you as well. Who would you say is your ideal customer? What are you doing well, and what is it that you can improve on at this point in time?
I think our ideal customer is the Africans in the diaspora, who are doing projects back home. What we are offering them is a platform where it's safe and secure to transact without having to send money back home and then it being looted, so to speak, by the relatives or misused for other things. So we are providing a platform where they can buy and we deliver onto their site and do all that. So I think the African diaspora, I would say, is one of our ideal customers. And
okay, just if I may ask, how does it work that their relatives spend the money?
okay, in Africa, what happens is you send 5,000. You ask, say, you want to buy solar panels. So someone will go and look for quotes for you and say they cost A, B, C, D, F from various people, and then they send the money for the relative to go and buy them so that they can get them installed or pay the supplier. Once they have remitted the money back home, that money is not used for buying the solar panels, but is pocketed. So in the end, if you had ordered maybe 350 watt solar panel, the relative may end up buying 100 watt solar panels so that at least there's something, or they may not even buy it all. So it's a problem that we have discovered in various countries. And it's the reason why what we have found is customers travel to South Africa so that when they are back home for visits or for their annual leaves, they travel to South Africa and want to buy all these things from different shops and organize to send them by themselves so that, you know, they reduce the risk of sending money back home and it being misused.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, I think then maybe African diaspora is a segment that we can maybe explore a little bit more and see how we can get into their minds, empathize with them, and then see how your products and services can be shaped accordingly.
All right, thank you.
Cool. Right. Then last but not least, our man with the amazing insights, a man that doesn't just see a purple shirt, but sees a friend in midday traffic. Mr. Andile, are you well? Just for those,
I'm good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, thanks. I know you guys are all really laughing hard. I can't just hear it, but I have to explain my joke, I guess. So Andile previously told us about the outsurance pointsman and when that our traffic lights are down and how they help us. So yeah, thank you once again for those insights. I'm sure my joke wasn't that funny, but anyway, I really enjoyed your feedback. I just see we've got a blank canvas here, and I would love to see your feedback here, because I think you've got a really good mind and you understand these things. So you must please let me know if we can maybe set up some time. I would love to get your input here, and I think you've got a really exciting business to work in. And really something that we can assist you in shaping towards becoming something viable. Oh, Andile, are you there? Now you're on mute again.
Okay, yes. Probably what time, or should I email you the time that would be convenient for you to actually go through the canvas?
No, we can speak offline. I'm just also pulling your leg during the process, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I am really excited to see what your viewpoints are. I thought you really saw something. You really contributed a lot last time and saw some points that was really valuable. So, guys, basically that is it from me. I'll see how far I can assist you guys in identifying that ideal customer. how we can get into their minds and actually go and test a little bit out there, get some feedback from customers, and see how we can shape towards defining an MVP. I know some of you already have products, so you are actually past the minimal viable product stage. But I think it's always a good thing to take a few steps back and just reevaluate what you have. It doesn't have to be a minimal viable product; it can just be your product or services. And with insight from customers, it's always valuable to reshape your offering. So that is it from my side for today. Is there anyone out there with some questions, general questions about their ventures? If there is any, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to assist you.
Yes, sir, it's September here.
Yes.
Lately, I've seen that the pain that a lot of our clients, actually, I would say 90% of them, if not 98% of them are facing, it's bulk SMS, more especially during this pandemic. Principals and schools are struggling to communicate with learners and parents because they forgot, I'll say they forgot to prioritize bulk SMS while things were running smooth. Because last year we tried to sell bulk SMS to them, but it was not the pain at that time. Now, recently, they are struggling to communicate because the timetables have changed. Maybe grade R and grade 1 have to come on Monday, grade 2, 3 on Tuesday, for example. So they have to alert parents that your kids have to be at school this day and that day. Now, the question here, or the assistance that I would like to get, is how do I show them that this is the pain that they have? Because I think they're running away from spending because of funds or because of corruption that is happening at this point in time. They are afraid to spend on bulk SMSs. So how do we show them that they have a pain and we can help them with the pain that they have?
Okay, so I would say that, so first of all, the problem that you're trying to solve is that bulk SMS management and administration is painful for various clients. So, and also now you have a bulk SMS management system. I'm actually asking you, so please help me if I'm missing the point or not addressing the right problem. So now you have to send out bulk SMSs to various groups. They've got different times, they've got different ways of doing things, it's different kids into different groups. So first of all, the problem that they then have is then there will be miscommunication and they won't be able to run the school properly, because now some people might get the message, others might not get the message, etc. So how do you intend, so if you can highlight to them that you're not going to manage the school as well, and it's a communication issue. That is the problem that they, at the end of the day, have. How are you intending on solving that for them? Is there an SMS management system that you can, configure these things and communicate better in such a way?
Yes.
There is.
Okay.
I'm asking, is there? Can you actually group people into groups, send mass SMSs? And actually manage various groups with various messages?
Yes, that's what we do, because we collect their data from the system that they use, which is SSMs. Then there are lists of parents there from grade R to grade 7 if it's a primary, from grade 8 to 12 if it's a high school. So we take parents and group them if by grades, from grade 1 parents, grade R parents to grade 7 parents. Then in high school, we create groups for learners and groups for parents. So we do group them, and we teach the admin staff how to operate the bulk SMS system.
Okay. Yeah. So then I think if you've got that in place, that's awesome. Remind them that there's going to be the repercussions of not managing it and not managing it properly, which is the service that you can provide, would be that they won't be able to run the school effectively, communicate to parents effectively, and the learners would be affected at the end of the day.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Cool. Is there anyone else?
Can I ask a second question? Sorry for
Yes.
Now the second question is, we have schools that have computer labs. Some of computer labs were sponsored by different companies or by some companies, but they are not up and running at this point in time. And a lot of principals don't see the need to revive those computer labs for children to get skills from computer labs. Now the question is, I've tried, or we've tried to show the principals that they need computer labs to be up and running, because some of the schools don't do CAT, which is computer studies. They don't do them, more especially in I will say Soweto and Kagiso, or the locations that has, or I'll say black communities, if I can put it that way, black communities. They don't see a need to make computer labs work. So in that case, how do we again show them that kids need technology, or they need computer skills for them to be able to adapt when they go to varsity colleges, or when they maybe they apply for jobs? Because most of kids from black communities, they don't know how to operate computers. So that's a problem we are facing as black kids. So how do we show principals that they need computer labs to be up and running?
Right. So at the end of the day, your customer segment would be, as you've said correctly over here. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to take that out for the moment. We should actually work on all these and make them separate customer segments. I'm going to add schools there. And what I would suggest you do is you go to schools, you get a focus group of, say, try and get 10 principals that you think will be able to listen to you. Say to them what your intent is, and then actually do the customer development process on them. And I can assist you with that if possible. But what we'll need to do is that we need to understand what is the jobs that they need to do. And we need to understand how, if they don't see, if they don't have a mandate to teach kids electronic literacy, there's going to be a problem. And I think what would be the issue is, or what would be a good idea, is to get into their world, understand what they are doing with their jobs, and from there on see what the real issue is. Because at this point in time, we're just speculating, and to speculate is never a good thing. We need to get out of the building and go and test our ideas and bring that back. So I would say get a small focus group, understand from them what's the issues, why they don't see the need to get these labs running, and then take it from there. And it might be that they need to be educated on the benefits. That might be that they that they are not further funded, or the computers are actually just not working, And that's maybe where you guys can come in. Yes, you can say, okay, don't worry, we can get it working for you. Plus, we can get the education software on, and also we can give your school a better brand recognition by having a proper computer center up and running, and distinguish yourself from other schools, something around those lines. Did that help?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is helping. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, anyone else who would like to ask something at this point in time?
Hello. No,
Yes, sir.
it's Angela here. I would like to actually thank you for insightful presentations today, and also reflecting on our business canvas. I will chat with Mr. Jean offline, and then we'll take it from there. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I have to run at this point in time.
No problem. Thank you for your attendance,
Okay.
Andile. Take care, my
Okay,
friend.
thank you. Meet you again next week.
Cheers. Speak to you soon.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, anyone else at this point in time?
Yeah, I think a question that, or a problem or a challenge that I've that I realized first is, how do you when you are doing the Rubik's Cube, how do you write these statements in such a way that they're not biased as to how you perceive things, or they're not coming out as how you perceive things, but as how the customer perceives things? Because I think we tend to put them in the way that we are providing the solution directly, instead of saying this is what has been a problem directly, and you're coming in a lot. How do you remove yourself from some of these statements in such a way that the statement becomes kind of in the third person, as opposed to you speaking on behalf of the customers to say this is their pains and this is their gains?
I think it's about, I hope my statement makes sense. It's about the hat that you put on. You need to decide what is my focus point, what's my viewpoint, what's my perspective I'm looking at. So if we're, I hope I'm understanding your question correctly, is so if you have a problem statement, and we know this is now a problem statement in the customer's world, these problem statements and solution statements, the customer are not really going to be seeing them. So if we take Uber, for instance, a problem statement might be that taxis don't arrive. Taxis often have difficulty arriving at the exact address that they were given. And then the solution would be implement a GPS-enabled online taxi ordering service. And the value proposition would then be, no matter where you are, your taxi will find you. So it's almost like the hat that you put on. So the problem, it can be like a very cold statement. This is the cold problem. The solution might be a technical one, which is good enough. And then when we get to the value propositions, this is where empathy needs to be provided. And it's like swapping your hats. Here you need to be concerned about the customer. Customer doesn't want to know about the GPS system. Some of them don't even know what that means. They just want to know that wherever I am and I take my mobile out of my pocket and I press the button once, there's going to be a taxi there. So I guess if I can try and answer your question, it's about the audience that will receive your, that will receive your message. Did that help?
It does. It does. I think it's pointing in the direction to say how do I mean, I have to remove myself and say, this is me as a customer. What benefits do I want? How do I want things done? Then I write it in that way. Then I switch and go to myself again and say, okay, this is the solution, or this is something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if we can take Siatemba's example over here, value proposition: sales, maintenance, repair, installations, intercom, CCTV, cameras, networking. What we can derive from that what's the value. So we do maintenance, we do repairs, we do installations, intercoms, we do CCTV stuff, but we're not proposing value. A value proposition then goes into these areas over here, and then with that in mind is that, okay, what is the issue for the guy? The pain is, I don't want to be sitting with Windows Firewall or Windows Defender issues while I'm running a business that's not a tech business. So my pain is, this is eating up my time, and therefore I would call Siatemba and his team to come and help me. So then we take this statement over here with Siatemba, please, I say this with all respect. This is a very cold set. This is more a set of services. You don't propose any value. The value that you say, for instance, over here, blah, 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 so that you can focus on your business. That's the value. And then you say, I can actually, I can, this sounds familiar to me. How many times have I sat with software and backup and installation and upgrade issues where I actually just want to run my business? So it is exactly like you're saying. You must kind of sometimes you remove yourself and you put yourself in certain positions. And from this problem to come up with these problem statements, you can remove yourself. And I think the more distilled you can have these problem statements, the better. When you go into the solution, then you can go more into if I can call it an engineering or a technical or a business kind of mindset, where you list the specific solutions that you provide. And I actually realized that today is that I think the more initially, the more individual problem and solution statements you can plot down initially is a lot better. What you can then subsequently do, it's almost like an initial brain dump. And then what you can subsequently do is, as you work through these things, then you think, okay, so what is the major problem that we're solving? How can we consolidate this? And that's why I said it's an iterative process. Then you will then say, okay, now I've got some pointers here. How do I consolidate that? How have I got some solution pointers here? How do I consolidate that? And then even with the business model and the value proposition is that a lot of these things will then go from this state, like sales, maintenance, which is actually a list of services with no proposition, to something with more of a proposition, and then to something that is like a consolidated view of your organization as a whole. So it builds up upon each other, that you will have initial lists of the services that you do. Then it becomes more refined towards the customer and their specific needs, which can then be used with marketing via specific channels, that you actually speak to a certain customer, and because you know where they hang out, you can actually deliver a specific message to them over here. And as you then grow these things, and it basically aggregates up, you'll get to an elevator pitch, you will get to a slogan, and you will get to the overall phrase of what your organization generally does at the end of the day. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. You're clearing up the gray areas.
Okay. You'll see if you the more you work with these things. I think a lot of people ask me, with this tool, how will people actually use this after they've done their planning? Because a lot of people see this as a planning tool. And of course, it's a planning tool. There's the business model canvas specifically. But I think, there's a lot of stuff that even if you're a more mature business, that come to the forefront, that needs to be refined, that you will need to go and have a look at these things. And as you go through the different concepts and the different phases and disciplines, a lot of things will lighten up in your mind, and you will gradually improve your business as you see the different dots connect.
Noted. Thank you very much.
Cool, Nick. Anytime. Anything else from anyone else? Awesome. Guys, thank you so much.